Hello everybody and welcome to Mark Goldbridge, That's Football, and here we are today with our Premier League predictions for the Premier League season 2020-21. People said it's too early. We're 1 week away from the start of the Premier League, and if some people want to wait until a couple of days before because they're cowards, let them crack on. But I'm telling you now, my Premier League predictions last year were spot on in many areas. I definitely got it right on the Premier League title. You can check it back on this channel, and I reckon I'm going to get a few right this time. We're going to go top 6 in order. We're going to go Player of the Year. We're going to go Surprise of the Year. We're going to go Top Goal Scorer of the Year. And we're going to go Relegation sides as well. So, look, of course, there are changes that can happen in the next 2 weeks. United don't play their first game for 2 weeks. Most teams are starting in a week's time. I'm sure maybe Liverpool are going to get Thiago. But I don't think City are going to get Messi, which I think, actually, that was the thing I was holding off on. Because I think if City got Messi, things get messy. Pardon the pun. No, I think City probably would have won the league, but they're not getting Messi. And I'm not going to go with City winning the league. Chelsea got most of their players done now. Maybe Arsenal are going to get a couple in as well. United, I think, will get Sancho. But I'm confident I can predict this out. And we're going to start off with the top 6. Now, I'm going to go with, in 6th place, I'm going to go with Arsenal. Actually, should we go 1st to 6th? Yeah, it's more exciting. In 1st place, I'm going to go with, begrudgingly again for the 2nd year in a row, and I hope I'm going to be wrong on this, Liverpool. I think Liverpool will win the league. And the reason I think Liverpool are going to win the league is because I still think they're the most consistent team. And the one word that always resonates when it comes to winning titles is consistency. So I think Liverpool are going to win the league. I think they're going to be the most consistent side. I doubt very much they're going to get 100 points. I think the Premier League is going to be more competitive this year. Because let's be honest, it was shit last year. Chelsea finishing 4th, having lost 12 games, is ridiculous. How many points was it that got you top 4? 64, 65? Terrible, terrible. So I am expecting top 4. You're going to need 70 points this year or more. So I think the Premier League winners will be around 90 points this year, and I expect it to be Liverpool. I think they're going to be more consistent than everybody else. But I also think there's a few factors here for Liverpool and Klopp. Let's not forget, he gets called a passion merchant. Liverpool are a very passionate club. That passion merchants live off passion and motivation. They've won the Premier League. Everybody knows it's harder to retain the Premier League than it is to win it. And you're a proper side if you retain it the year after, because everyone's out for you. And as a United fan, I've seen this time and time again. It's not easy to retain it. And City have never been that good at it, have they? I don't know. Have City actually ever retained it? I'm not too sure. Maybe they have. I think they have, haven't they? I think they did it the year that they did it last time, actually. But it's not easy to do. Also, they didn't win it in front of their fans. Liverpool didn't win it in front of their fans, and I think that will be a motivation for them this year. And thirdly, maybe the biggest one of all, if they win the Premier League title, then they've got Manchester United's record, haven't they, of 20 times. So I think that there are 3 big motivators for Liverpool there, and I also still think that they're the best team. I still think they're the best team. World-class fullbacks, world-class centre-back in Van Dijk. If they add Thiago into that midfield and their front 3, the only thing that could derail Liverpool, but hasn't recently, is the relentlessness of their last 2 years. They took City close when 2 years ago, and they won a Champions League, and then last year they were relentless and they won it. Can they do it for 3 years in a row? Can they do it for 3 years in a row without picking up major injuries to some of their key players, which they seem to avoid through very good recruiting? So I'm going Liverpool as number 1. Number 2 is going to surprise everybody. Chelsea. I'm going Chelsea number 2. It's a risk. I must admit I'm quite excited in a non-United way. In a general football channel. In a general football fan way, which is what this channel's all about. Subscribe if you're new, bottom right corner, everyone's welcome. Nice little pun there. But, Frank Lampard's English. There hasn't been a great English manager in a long time. Name me the last great English manager. I mean, for me, Bobby Robson, Brian Clough. I can't really think of an English manager that's done amazingly well. Certainly in the Premier League era. There's probably somebody out there, but most of them foreign, definitely Scottish. So I would like Frank Lampard to do well from that point of view, because it's the English Premier League, and without forget all the Brexit FC stuff, it just would be good to have a top class English manager, and I think Lampard, it's going to go one or two ways with Lampard. If he fails after all that money, Abramovich will get rid of him in no time. If he does well, then look, second place would be fantastic for them. And I think with the likes of Werner, Havertz, Ziyech, and then the players that they've already got, who I really do rate, people like Kovacic, I think Kante can still do a very good job for them. They've got people like Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham, who probably won't be starters now, but really do strengthen up their bench. Loftus-Cheek's a good player as well. I just think Chelsea will turn that inconsistency round. They've still got question marks about their back four. I don't personally think Ben Chilwell is an amazing left back, but Chelsea fans are very happy with him. Can Thiago Silva settle in? Goalkeeper situation, but I just think Chelsea are going to be better than last year, and I think they're going to find more consistency. So I'm going to put Chelsea in second place, which, look, isn't that much of a shock when you look at the quality of squad they already had, the way they were playing football, and the absolute quality that they brought in. I mean, look, I've said this many times. In a transfer situation, if you buy 10 players, at least 3 will definitely flop. It's statistical. So all those Chelsea players surely can't be a success. But I look at Havertz, I look at Ziyech, I look at Werner especially, and I think they're made for the Premier League. So I'm going to go Chelsea second. Third place, Man City. Now, everybody seems to be going with Man City for the title. I don't get it. I'm either going to be very wrong or very right, because I don't get why Man City are everybody's favourites. They're not the team they were. Leroy Sané's left. I know he didn't play much of last season because he was injured, but Sterling dropped off massively. Aguero seems to be missing more and more of the season, getting more injuries. I don't rate Jesus that much. De Bruyne is the best midfielder in the world, probably. They've brought in Ferran Torres, good player, but adjustment time. David Silva's now gone. They've brought in Nathan Ake. I think they will get Koulibaly, and I think Koulibaly at the back with Laporte makes them very, very strong at the back. But I think the thing about City for me is that Pep Guardiola is a very good manager, but he's not got a plan B. He's got a plan A, and a plan A is 30 shots against Southampton. They have 1 and they win 1-0. I don't think those results are going to disappear. I think Liverpool will remain consistent. I think Chelsea are going to get better, but I don't see City suddenly becoming a team that's winning 4-0, 4-0 every week like they could do a couple of years ago. Unless they do some big statement signing, which I don't really see coming in at the moment, although it could do. If they got Messi, I would have said that, if you get Ronaldo, I think it just gives you, or a Neymar, I think it just gives you, or an Mbappe, it just gives you that, or a Lewandowski. I could do this for a few players, but I don't think they're going to get that type of player. So Man City in third for me. Manchester United in fourth, and I feel that's, look, as a United fan, I feel that's a little bit poor because we finished third last year. But I think as things stand at the moment, we've brought Donny van de Beek in. I think we're going to be a better team than we were last year, but we might finish one position further down. Look, I hope United can get second, and what I would say is I don't think there's going to be much between second, third and fourth anyway. So look, United could be second, Chelsea could be third, City could be fourth. I think Liverpool will win it. I don't think Manchester United are going to have a bad season. I think we're going to get Sancho in, and I think we're going to be a better team, but I just think that United are still a year away from really getting into a title challenge, because I still, as a United fan, and I'm sure many would agree with me, I still see we're still talking about hope that we can get into a title race rather than probably belief. And I think we're a year away from that. I still think the back four is a problem, and I still think that centre defensive midfield is a problem, and they're key positions. So not a problem with our best 11. I think when Harry Maguire plays well, Lindelof plays well, and Matic plays well, we're fine. And Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw. But when one of those gets injured, Wan-Bissaka had a bad end to the season. Where's Harry Maguire's head going to be at? Can Matic play 60 games? I think at the moment, on the face of it, United are still going to be a little bit away from the Chelseas, the Cities and the Liverpools who look more prepared than me. So I'll put United in fourth. They could surprise us, and I hope they do. In fifth place, I'm going for Spurs. I think that Jose Mourinho, with a full season, full summer, look, he's obviously not got the money he would like, but he's still got a lot of good players there. If he can get those players to believe in him and get them working, then I think that they will have a better season. I think they'll win the Europa League, by the way. I'm happy to talk about cup wins. I think that the Spurs will win the Europa League, and I think they will finish in fifth. It'll go, again, a bit like Lampard, it'll go one or two ways with Mourinho. If he has a bad season next season and they're hovering around mid-table or 8th or 9th, he won't be there. But the Spurs have got to improve. And how do you improve? Well, it's very hard for any team, and I'm not taking the mickey out of Spurs or Arsenal or any other team. I think it's very hard for a Spurs or Arsenal to get in the top four. Look at what Chelsea have spent when they finished fourth. United are going to get Sancho. and Liverpool and Man City, they're not going to drop out the top four. So it's very hard to get in the top four. And I think if Spurs or Arsenal get in the top four, that's an amazing achievement. So I'd put Spurs at fifth. Improvement. It's going to be a long... the thing about Mourinho is he could improve Spurs, but he's not going to have the checkbook to do it. So it's going to be a longer burn for Spurs to get back into that top four. As for Arsenal, you know what? Look at what Arsenal are doing. They deservedly won the FA Cup. They've beaten Liverpool a couple of times. Arteta seems to be doing what Ollie was doing when he first came in, especially the start of last season, where he could beat Spurs, he could beat Chelsea, he could beat Man City, he could get a draw against Liverpool, but then he was struggling against the teams like the Bournemouths and the Watfords. So where's Arteta going to be with Arsenal this season? We've seen that Arteta knows how to effectively hit teams on the break and defend deep and win games 1-0, 2-0. What's he going to do against the Evertons and the Wolves? Is he going to go more on the front foot? And I think there's an evolution with Arteta which makes Arsenal very difficult to read because they're well organised at the moment. Their fans love Arteta, but as an outsider in, he's playing, I don't want to call it part of the bus football, it's counter-attacking football, soaking up and hitting the better teams on the break because he knows he can't go toe-to-toe. Now, there's no way that Arteta's philosophy is to hit teams on the break. That's not what it is. He's probably, he worked under Pep. He wants to play a more expansive style. I don't think he's got the players to do that yet. But with the players that he's bringing in, I mean, not specifically Willian and not specifically Gabriel, who I think makes them better, but it's what he's going to do in his midfield. Can he get Thomas Partey? Can he get Aouar in from Lyon? So it's dependent on what Arsenal do, but I still think Arsenal, much like Spurs, it's impossible for them to get in the top four this season. Bit like United, and Chelsea. I think it's impossible for United to win the league this year. So on the same thing, I think it's impossible and unfair to expect Spurs or Arsenal to get in the top four. So I would put Arsenal at sixth. They could get fifth, but that's how I'm going to go with it. So that's my top six. Liverpool, Chelsea, City, United, Spurs, Arsenal. That's my top six. Who will be the top goal scorer this season? Now, my top goal scorer this season is going to... I'm not going to mess about. Last season, I thought Martial would outscore Aubameyang. People laughed at that. Actually, when you look at it, it was a lot closer. Martial missed a significant time at the start of the season through injury. I think he lost about 6 games. Also, he was playing in a team that created next to nothing until Bruno came in. So I think Martial could have been closer to Aubameyang. But Aubameyang, look, he's one of the best goal scorers in Europe. I'm not going to deny that. And he's got to be one of the favourites to win top goal scorer. I'm not going to put Martial in the argument this year because I think that, he always does seem to pick up an injury. And I think much the same as I'm not going to put Aguero in there, who I think is probably the best striker in the league. He will miss a couple of months with a hamstring again. So it's not going to be Aguero for me. I'm not going to put Martial in this year. I'm not going to go with Aubameyang, although I think he would be one of the firm favourites. I'm actually going to go with Timo Werner at Chelsea. I think he's going to score a lot of goals. He's got this knack of scoring really good goals and playing really well, but he's also got this knack of scoring when he's not playing well, and he will be playing down the middle for Chelsea. So, and he will get a lot of opportunities. One of the things I saw with Chelsea last year, and one of the reasons Chelsea lost so many games last year, is they missed a lot of chances. And I just think if they replicate last season, Timo Werner will score over 20 goals, and I think they're going to be better than last season. So I'm going to say Timo Werner. The only thing I would say about Werner is I don't really know a lot about him in relation to injury records and things like that. But I'm going to go Timo Werner. It's a bit of an outsider, but I'm going to go Timo Werner, top scorer in the Premier League this season coming up. Let's do relegation next. Relegation for me is quite... I don't know whether I'm going to be right. I think last year I predicted Sheffield United would go down, so that was wrong. But I'm going to go Fulham down, and I'm going to go West Brom down. I just think they've got relegation written all over them. They will be fighting for relegation. I mean, Fulham came up a couple of years ago, spent a lot of money, and they still went down. I don't think they'll spend a lot of money, and I don't think their team is anywhere near good enough to stay in the Premier League. I think they'll be annihilated by the top 6, to be fair. And I think they'll be seen as slim pickings by teams like Newcastle, Southampton, who are experienced. I think Fulham are going to struggle, and I think West Brom are going to struggle as well. They could be surprise packages, both of them, but I just feel that they're going to both go straight back down, unfortunately. The third team that goes down with them is really difficult to predict. I thought Brighton, but I made that mistake last year, and I think they're very well coached, and I think that they probably will stay up. I thought Crystal Palace because I think Zaha will go, but then I thought, they've still... I just couldn't lean towards them. I then thought Newcastle, but I thought, well, even if it goes bad for Newcastle, they'll stack Steve Bruce, they'll bring somebody else in, and I think they'll stay up. There was another team I had as a contender, Aston Villa. I had Aston Villa as a contender as well. But I think if Jack Grealish goes, which I don't think he will, I would probably say Villa. They've not done a lot in the transfer market, really. But again, I think Villa staying up will make them more experienced this year. I think I think when you first come up, if you stay up, you become more experienced and better. So I'm actually going to... I don't actually think they're going... I can't pick a third team to go down, is basically the truth. So I've gone for something a little bit left field here. I'm going to say Leeds. And that people are going to go, you're stupid. You're absolutely stupid. And I'm really happy Leeds are back in the Premier League because they're a massive rival of United. But I've just gone with the mentality here. And some people would say it's a stupid mentality, and I accept that. But I'm struggling to pick the third team that's going to go down. So I'm going to say Leeds, and I'm going to go with this. And this is the only explanation I can give. Are we not thinking of Leeds, the big club Leeds? And are we actually overhyping them a bit as to the job they've got? It's going to be very hard for Leeds to adjust to the Premier League. There's going to be... I think Leeds might go down. But I might be totally wrong. But I do think West Brom and Norwich will go down. And look, maybe Leeds will spend money to stay up as well. I don't know what the financial thing is. But as a shock outside their bid, I'm not going to go with Villa. I'm not going to go with Newcastle. I'm not going to go with Palace. I'm not going to go with Brighton. I'm going to go with Leeds to go down. And look, everyone's going to say you're foolish. But that's my prediction on that. I've done top scorer, player of the year. Look, there's a few very good candidates. Sancho when he's at United, if he's at United. Havertz at Chelsea, I think is a good bet. De Bruyne is always a good bet. I think Mane at Liverpool will have a good season. But I'm going to go Bruno Fernandes. I think Bruno Fernandes is going to win player of the year. I think he was player of the year from January to the end of the season. And I think with a full season at Manchester United, people can call him Penaldes. People can say he's a stat padder. I don't see any of that stopping. And he's way more than penalties, by the way. I think he's going to continue to get goals. I think he's going to continue to get assists. I think he's going to continue to get headlines. And I think he will win player of the year next season. And I'm barring injury, I think United are going to be better next year, and I think Bruno Fernandes is going to be fundamental to that. So to me, I'm going to go Bruno Fernandes with quite firm conviction that he will win Player of the Year. Of course, it's only a prediction, but I think Bruno Fernandes gets Player of the Year. And then I just wanted to say surprise package of the season. I think Sheffield United won it last year. My surprise package team of the season is Everton. And again, look, I could be totally wrong like I was about Leeds going down maybe, but I think Everton, Ancelotti is one of the world's best managers. He's not at Everton just to pick up a paycheck. He's there to develop them. Now, if they get James Rodriguez, which I expect, they've got Decore, they've got Alan, and them three players will make them better than what they are. They've already got Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison, who I think are a threat, and I think he will get a centre-back in as well. So, look, I'm not putting Everton into the top six. They might really surprise people and get into the top six. They won't. I don't think they can get top four. I don't think anybody can get top four other than the four that we've got. But if Everton finish seventh, close to sixth, I think that's a good season for them. So Leicester nearly did it last year. Sheffield United did well. Wolves have done it before. I think Everton will be the team this year that is the best of the rest beyond the top six. So that's my prediction on that. So smash the like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. We are back tomorrow with a watch along for the England game. But get your predictions in below. What do you think? What do you think? And remember, everyone's welcome on this channel. Doesn't matter what team you support. So get your comments in below. Let us know what you think. And finally, we do have a Fantasy Premier League that you can join if you do play Fantasy Premier League. So I've dropped that link in the video description as well. Thanks everyone for watching. I'm excited to do this at the end of the season. Will I be right? How many will I get right? Get your comments in below. And thanks for watching. Speak to you all soon.